In the evolving landscape of the Ukraine-Russia conflict, recent developments are underscoring the intricate web of alliances and geopolitical maneuvering that continues to shape the war's trajectory. As the conflict enters a critical phase, North Korea has reaffirmed its support for Russia, with leader Kim Jong Un declaring the nation's commitment to backing Moscow in its ongoing military efforts against Ukraine. This endorsement comes at a time when both nations are navigating heightened tensions with the United States and its allies. On February 8, during a visit to the Defense Ministry in Pyongyang, Kim emphasized that North Korea would invariably support and encourage the just cause of the Russian army and people to defend their sovereignty and territorial integrity. This statement aligns with the strategic partnership established between the two countries, reflecting a growing military collaboration that has significant implications for regional stability. In parallel, U.S. President Donald Trump has engaged in discussions with Russian President Vladimir Putin regarding potential pathways to end the conflict. Speaking aboard Air Force One, Trump noted that Putin expressed a desire to see an end to the hostilities, stating he wants to see people stop dying. However, Kremlin spokesman Dmitry Peskov remained non-committal, unable to confirm the details of their conversations. Trump's upcoming meeting with Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky is anticipated to focus on the war, with discussions reportedly centering on Ukraine's military needs and resources. As military dynamics shift, Ukraine has marked a significant milestone with a renewed offensive in the Russian region of Kursk, which Zelensky noted brought the war home for Russians. This incursion, coupled with the delivery of fighter jets from France and the Netherlands, aims to enhance Ukraine's air defense capabilities amid ongoing Russian aerial assaults. The Ukrainian military reported a notable increase in drone and missile attacks from Russia, with 151 drones launched in a single night, underscoring the intensity of the aerial conflict. While the situation on the battlefield remains volatile, reports indicate that North Korean troops have largely vanished from the front lines after suffering significant losses. The exact status of these forces raises questions about their future role in the conflict and the potential for further military collaboration between North Korea and Russia. Analysts suggest that North Korea may be leveraging the war in Ukraine as a testing ground for its military capabilities, particularly in drone technology. The international response to these developments is multifaceted. The United Nations has reported an alarming increase in executions of Ukrainian soldiers in Russian custody, further complicating the humanitarian crisis stemming from the war. As Ukraine faces a critical labor shortage due to the ongoing conflict, efforts to encourage refugees to return home are gaining traction, with the government establishing unity hubs in Europe to facilitate this process. Looking ahead, the geopolitical ramifications of North Korea's support for Russia, combined with the ongoing dialogues between Trump and Putin, signal a complex interplay of alliances that could reshape the future of the conflict. As both nations seek to bolster their military capabilities, the potential for a broader confrontation with NATO looms large, complicating any pathway to peace. The coming weeks are set to be pivotal as diplomatic efforts intensify and military strategies evolve, underscoring the urgent need for resolution amid an increasingly fraught global landscape. In a significant development amid the ongoing conflict in Ukraine, U.S. President Donald Trump has confirmed that he has engaged in discussions with Russian President Vladimir Putin regarding a potential end to the war. In an interview aboard Air Force One, Trump emphasized that Putin desires to see an end to the suffering and loss of life, stating he wants to see people stop dying. However, Trump refrained from revealing the specifics of their conversations, only hinting at the number of times they have spoken. The Kremlin, while acknowledging the possibility of communication, has not confirmed these discussions. This announcement comes at a time when tensions remain high, particularly in the Russian region of Kursk, where recent reports indicate intensified fighting. Ukrainian forces have launched counterattacks, and Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky has stated that their military efforts have brought the war home for Russians. It is within this context of escalating conflict that Trump's potential meeting with Zelensky next week looms large, as the outcome could influence diplomatic negotiations moving forward. Adding another layer to the geopolitical landscape, North Korean leader Kim Jong Un has publicly reaffirmed his country's support for Russia's military actions in Ukraine. North Korea's military declared its commitment to encourage the just cause of the Russian army and people as part of a broader strategic partnership with Moscow. This endorsement from Pyongyang marks a notable shift given that North Korean troops have reportedly been involved in the conflict, although their presence on the front lines has diminished in recent weeks. As the situation unfolds, the implications of Trump's remarks extend beyond the battlefield. With the war approaching its third anniversary, the potential for a U.S.-Russia dialogue raises questions about the role of the United States in shaping peace negotiations. Trump has previously suggested that he has a concrete plan to end the conflict, although details remain scarce. His administration's stance has prompted speculation about whether any proposed agreements would adequately address Ukraine's territorial integrity and sovereignty. Furthermore, Russia's envoy to the United Nations Vasily Nebenzia has indicated that Moscow is waiting for appropriate signals from the U.S. for potential talks, emphasizing that any discussions must consider Russia's interests. This sentiment underscores the delicate balance that any peace negotiations will require as both sides continue to assert their respective positions. Meanwhile, on the battlefield, Ukraine's military remains vigilant, claiming to have intercepted a significant number of Russian drones launched in recent attacks. Reports indicate that Ukraine has successfully downed 70 out of 151 drones, showcasing its ongoing efforts to defend its airspace amid sustained aggression. As diplomatic efforts intensify, the stakes are high for both Ukraine and Russia. The outcome of Trump's discussions with both Putin and Zelensky could shape the future of the conflict, potentially offering a path towards peace or further entrenching hostilities. With North Korea's backing of Russia and the evolving dynamics of international relations, the coming weeks are poised to be pivotal in determining the trajectory of the war in Ukraine. As the international community watches closely, the urgency for a resolution grows, with the hope that the loss of life and suffering can come to an end. In a recent exclusive interview aboard Air Force One, former President Donald Trump revealed that he has been in communication with Russian President Vladimir Putin in an effort to negotiate an end to the ongoing war in Ukraine. As the conflict approaches its third anniversary, Trump expressed a sense of urgency, stating, "Every day people are dying. This war is so bad in Ukraine. I want to end this damn thing." His remarks reflect a deep concern over the human toll the war has taken, with Trump estimating that approximately 2 million lives have been lost on both sides, describing them as young beautiful people akin to one's own children. While Trump did not disclose the frequency of his conversations with Putin, he conveyed a belief that the Russian leader does care about the casualties resulting from the war. He wants to see people stop dying, Trump asserted, underscoring the humanitarian aspect of the conflict that has deeply affected both nations. He emphasized that had he been in office during the war's inception in 2022, he believes the conflict never would have happened. His comments also included a critique of President Joe Biden's handling of foreign relations, labeling it an embarrassment for the United States. Amidst these discussions, Trump has outlined a concrete plan to facilitate negotiations, expressing hope for a swift resolution. "Let's get these meetings going. They want to meet," he urged, emphasizing the need for action to halt the ongoing bloodshed. As part of his proposed strategy, the former president indicated a willingness to engage with Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky at the upcoming Munich Security Conference, where U.S. Vice President J.D. Vance is also scheduled to meet with Zelensky. The backdrop of Trump's negotiations is the significant human cost of the war, which has led to approximately 43,000 Ukrainian military deaths and an estimated 198,000 Russian deaths, alongside hundreds of thousands of injuries on both sides. Trump's focus on peace talks and potential economic agreements has raised eyebrows, particularly his suggestion of a $500 million deal involving access to Ukraine's rare earth minerals in exchange for security guarantees. In addition to his discussions about Ukraine, Trump expressed a desire to reach a non-nuclear deal with Iran, stating, "I would prefer that to bombing the hell out of it. Nobody wants to die. This statement illustrates his broader approach to international relations, emphasizing negotiation over military action. As the political landscape continues to evolve, the implications of Trump's communications with Putin and his assertions about ending the war could have lasting effects on U.S. foreign policy and the ongoing conflict in Ukraine. Observers will undoubtedly be watching closely to see if these dialogues yield any tangible results, especially as tensions remain high and the humanitarian crisis deepens. With both the Munich Security Conference and the potential for further U.S.-Russia interactions on the horizon, the coming weeks may prove pivotal in shaping the future of international relations in this fraught geopolitical context. In a recent call to action, Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky has urged international allies to invest in Ukraine's abundant mineral resources, marking a significant shift in the country's approach to its economic partnerships amidst ongoing conflict with Russia. This appeal follows a controversial suggestion from U.S. President Donald Trump, who proposed a deal involving rare earths as a form of collateral for military aid to Ukraine. Zelensky's remarks shared via social media reflect a strategic move to assert Ukraine's mineral wealth, which he claims is valued at trillions of dollars, particularly highlighting extensive reserves of titanium and uranium, the largest in Europe. "We have mineral resources. This does not mean that we give them away to anyone, even to strategic partners," he stated, emphasizing the importance of maintaining control over these valuable assets. He further elaborated, "Put your money in. Invest. Let's develop this together and make money," signaling a desire for mutually beneficial partnerships rather than one-sided transactions. The backdrop to Zelensky's statement is a turbulent geopolitical landscape where the war with Russia has persisted for nearly 3 years, with recent developments indicating Russia's steady advances in eastern Ukraine. Trump's proposition, however, has drawn criticism, including from German Chancellor Olaf Scholz, who underscored the necessity of supporting Ukraine without expectations of financial returns. "We are helping Ukraine without asking to be paid in return. This should be everyone's position," Scholz remarked, highlighting the ethical implications of such deals. Zelensky's focus on mineral investments comes at a pivotal time for Ukraine as it seeks to fortify its defenses and stabilize its economy. The push for investment aligns with extensive discussions with NATO leaders regarding military support and the need for enhanced air defense systems. In a separate meeting with NATO's Military Committee Chair Giuseppe Cavo-Dragone, Zelensky reiterated the importance of military coordination and the operational launch of the NSATA mission aimed at bolstering Ukraine's defense capabilities. The emphasis on domestic production of long-range weapons has also been a notable topic in recent discussions. During a visit to a defense facility, Zelensky praised the workforce's contributions and presented state awards to recognize their efforts. He expressed optimism about Ukraine's growing military production capacity, suggesting that advancements in the defense industry could serve as a deterrent against further Russian aggression. As Ukraine navigates these complex dynamics, the interplay between economic strategy and military assistance will be crucial. Zelensky's call for investment in mineral resources not only represents a pivotal moment for Ukraine's economic future but also reflects a broader strategy to enhance national security. Moving forward, the success of these initiatives will depend on the willingness of international partners to engage in meaningful collaborations that respect Ukraine's sovereignty while providing the necessary support to counter ongoing threats. The developments in Ukraine's mineral wealth and military readiness will likely remain a focal point for both domestic policy and international relations in the coming months.